Good morning, guys. Thanks for listening to Coffee with Christ. If you haven't subscribed, hit the button below. Share this with a friend. It is a good week. It is a crazy week for me because we are moving. But you know what? Life goes on. Coming to Jesus is a priority. So whatever kind of crazy world you got going on, and I'm telling you, it is a crazy world around here. I've got boxes and stuff and trash and it's all piled up, but you know what, we just got to come to Jesus. And so I came to Jesus this morning in love. And so the invitation yesterday was come. It was he's coming soon and he wants people to come to him. And so sometimes I feel like I could shout that from the rooftops. It's just overflowing out of me because he is so good. But you know what, the reminder that he laid on my heart that he wanted me to remind everyone was come, but come the way you are. The way you are. That's the whole good news is come the way you are. Yes, probably pretty messed up. I don't care if you've been walking with Jesus for a long time. Come with your mess ups. Come. His arms are open and he wants us to come. And sometimes, the biggest thing, I don't know why I hear this, is if I go into the church, it's gonna strike me down. God will just strike me down with lightning. So if you're saying that, come. That's the perfect scenario. If you feel that way, come, because that means that's who needs to come. If you feel shame and dirty and guilt, if you've walked with the Lord for a long time, it's not a one-time thing that we come. That's the perfect scenario to come, because what happens is, even after we have received Christ's work of salvation in our life and we mess up, okay, say we mess up, like we all do, we feel this guilt, you know what I mean? And sin, no matter where we're at, always causes us to be separate from God. And so it causes us to want to kind of turn away from God. But Jesus is saying, don't do that. Come in your messed up stuff. So it's just what he does. The disciples that did so much, they didn't make the religious cut, because if you were a Jewish boy, you were going to be raised with learning the scriptures. You were going to try to then work under a rabbi. But if you kind of didn't make the religious cut, then you were sent to do a trade. Well, the disciples were trade workers, fishermen, tax collectors. And so we know they didn't make the religious cut. So here this rabbi, this teacher saying, come and follow me and work under me. They're like, what? I didn't make that. Because Jesus doesn't call the people who look like they should be doing it. Think of Peter. He was hot-tempered, impulsive. Paul was very religious. He did work under the teachers, the teachers of religious law, but he was a murderer. He was killing Christians, yet Jesus came to him in his state that he was, and he was calling him. The mother Mary, to carry baby Jesus, was an ordinary girl who did a divine, extraordinary thing. But he calls the ordinary. He calls people who are messed up. He doesn't expect us to come to him perfect ever, because Mark 2:17 says, I love it. When Jesus heard this, he told them, healthy people don't need a doctor, sick people do. I have come to call not those who think they are righteous, but those who know they are sinners. So basically, these Pharisees were busting on Jesus because he's eating in the home of the scum, the tax collectors, the sinners. And he's like, these are the people that need a doctor. These are the people that I'm calling, people who know that they're sinners. Those Pharisees, they were sinners too, but they were too religious to see that they were sinners. Don't ever get too religious to see your own sin and come to Jesus. And so it's Jesus's grace and his presence that changes us. Our job is just to surrender and come to him. And that seems so easy, but sometimes it's so hard. But he's just waiting and he's beckoning us. He's saying, come. It is God. It says in Philippians 2:13, it is God working in you, giving you the desire and the power to do what pleases him. This is God, guys. This is all on God. All we have to do is come. in our stuff, and he will work in us the will, the desire to do what pleases him. That is good news. So he's waiting on us today. He's waiting on us afresh and new. He wants us to come to him and just to be with him and to love him. So that's the invitation that he's laid on my heart again today. So come to Jesus. I am praying for you. I want you to have a great day, and I will talk to you tomorrow.